Thank you. I'm Rick Dietz, IT Director for the City of Bloomington, and we're here to inform the Council and the community about our progress in responding to Google's Fiber for Communities project. So first of all, I'll be joined by Denise Alano a little bit later, but as an introduction, the City of Bloomington has created a campaign called Bloom for Fiber, and that's Bloom and then the number 4 and then fiber, to gather feedback, ideas from the community in order to develop a targeted and thorough response to Google's Fiber to the Premise build-out project. Essentially, what Google is proposing is, in a handful of communities, to build out a fiber to the premise network, which would bring fiber optics to essentially every residence and business within that community. They're looking, roughly at communities between 50 and 500,000 in population, and communities that have a certain number or certain characteristics that they think would be promising, particularly promising in the sense of that community being able to fully utilize the capacity of such a network. So they aren't really looking to go through the expense of deploying this infrastructure just to have folks do what they're already doing. They're looking for communities that would be able to step up and utilize the network and the bandwidth that it provides to the fullest extent. So essentially what Google is proposing is to build a network that would offer 1 gigabit per second speed, which is roughly 100 to sometimes 1,000 times the speed of conventional broadband networks. So that would be a significant increase in the capacity going into and out of homes and businesses within the community. Google is going to select these communities to deploy the network based on the response from the community itself. In this case, the City of Bloomington, we have an official city response that we have been crafting, but also based on the nominations that members of the community make on behalf of the city. So in addition to being able to articulate why we as a city think that it's a good idea, we're very much interested in having individuals in the communities, groups, and businesses respond and nominate Bloomington as well. And with that, I'll go ahead and indicate that we have a website for this, bloomforfiber.net, which is currently being displayed. And then I'll pass it on to Denise to talk a little bit about the potential economic development impacts of a project like this. Thanks.
Good evening. I'm Denise Alano, the Economic and Sustainable Development Director for the city. It's been my pleasure to work with Rick on this project and to talk to the community about it. I think Bloomington certainly is positioned with our long history of entrepreneurial innovation, business community who is very involved in the community. We're poised, I think, to utilize the capacity that Google could offer to a community. I don't think today we can necessarily imagine what our residents and what the businesses could use this ultra-high-speed broadband for, but Google wants to hear those ideas, so we hope the community will come forward with them. I do know there's a growing body of evidence that strong IT infrastructure can create jobs, and certainly the City of Bloomington and the community has invested a great deal in our technology sector. With the launch of the Bloomington Technology Partnership with the BEDC and Indiana University and Ivy Tech and others, with private industry also taking part in the Bloomington Technology Partnership. Our investment in the Certified Technology Park certainly heralds our investment in the technology sector in Bloomington. But it's not just the technology sector that will benefit from this ultra-high-speed fiber. It's also our healthcare industry, for example. We've heard, I think a lot of us have heard talk about remote diagnosis that could be possible if high volumes of high-resolution images could be transmitted very quickly, rather than having a patient need to travel to a medical facility. That information could travel instead to the doctor. The diagnosis could quickly travel back. So it's our healthcare industry also that could benefit. And small businesses and entrepreneurs could benefit in ways, like I said, we don't necessarily know yet. But this is a tool to help to fuel that innovation. So we hope the community will help us and nominate the community and bring forward additional ideas on how the Bloomington community could utilize this tool. There are other ways, just to name a couple more, that we could benefit economically from this investment. There's anecdotal evidence that even assessed values of homes could increase when you have high-speed fiber access as opposed to nearby homes that don't have that access. So residents would be able to benefit as well in that respect. So the ripple effect could be enormous. The boost that it could have to the innovation in the community could be enormous. And we are glad for your help in getting out the word. And I'll turn it back to Rick.
Thanks, Denise. The last thing that I want to mention is just to bring this around to a point I made earlier, that we are seeking nominations from the community, from individual residents, from organizations, from businesses, schools, government, et cetera. We want to have as many folks speaking up in support for this as possible. And again, the Center for coordinating that is the website that we've established at bloomforfiber.net. On that page, we have a very big button which says Nominate Bloomington. And if you click on that, it'll take you to the Google nomination page. There's two ways to nominate. The first on the left there is for government. Again, we're working on that filing right now. It's fairly substantial, and we just about have all of the materials that we need put together. And then the second on the right is for residents in the community, organizations and businesses. And we highly encourage all that are in the audience here and everybody that is watching at home these broadcasts to participate in this and help us in this project. We also have on our Bloom for Fiber .net page links to a Facebook page that we established, as well as a Twitter feed for this effort. So anybody that utilizes those social media tools are welcome to follow and participate in this project through that. And with that being said, I'd be happy to take any questions that the council might have about this project.